Today, Stephanie and I are honored to speak with one of our Soulful Leader superfans named Dawn, who just started her a brand new business. And it's exciting for us because she has been a support of ours since we first started doing our work together, meaning mine and Stephanie's work together, which we really feel like is a strong part of our life mission. And as we work with our clients and the people who listen to the podcast, the people like Dawn who have been part of our inner mastery, part of our co-creation circle, part of just all the stuff that we do, she's a part of it. And we see them growing into and owning their own life mission. It is beyond exciting.
Mhm.
So I
And for
know
years, I worked with Dawn, and to watch somebody go from not having confidence, really, like, kind of, like, a little bit hesitant about stepping out and sharing one's gifts and dreams because of what might happen or what happens if I'm too successful and I can't help it, and all these obstacles that came in the way, to actually letting herself be successful and going with her own inner guidance and trusting it and stepping out in the uncomfortability of the not knowing and totally trusting and totally actually being supported. So I am really excited to be able to honor her and to hear her story and to hear what she's up to and to really to know that this is possible for all of us. So
it is an absolutely a different way of doing business. And that's what it is thrilling for me. And I can't wait for you all to hear it. So without further ado, welcome to this week's Soulful Leader podcast.
In a world where we have everything and it's still not enough, we're often left wondering, is this really it?
Deep inside, you know there's more to life. You're ready to leave behind the old push your way through and claim the deeper, more meaningful life that's calling you.
That's what we invite you to explore with us.
We're your hosts,
Stephanie Allen
and Marin Oslak. And this is the Soulful Leader Podcast.
Yay!
So we're super excited today to welcome Dawn Boutilier, who is and has been and is currently a really great part of my life. She's inspired me so much in cultivating subject matter for our Soulful Leader podcast. And I'm super grateful because just recently I had an experience with Dawn that I think surprised both you and I. So welcome, Dawn.
Hi. Kind of just like everything. I go with the flow, and then when things come to me, I just run with it. And that was the farm stand. So I had a friend mention it, and I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, maybe someday. And then another friend mentioned it, and I guess I just had to hear it 2 times. And I started looking on Pinterest at all the different farm stands and was like, oh, I could make one of those. So that's what we did. We went on Marketplace and got a really good deal, and my dad was like, if you want it, you better go get it. So we ran to Southampton and got it and renovated it, and now we have a little farm stand in our yard.
So I think what is cool though is that, like, I know you said you go with the flow and different things, but where we kind of started with this was about wealth. And I know you and I have talked about this of like, trying to find more money, trying to find ways to make money, save money, create money. And when we get money focused, it can drive us and it can really make us feel empty inside. And so you and I, Dawn and I were talking about wealth, what wealth really is. And Marin, you and I have worked with Roger Hamilton that his definition of wealth is what you have when your money's all gone. So, maybe Marin, do you want to talk a little bit about that? And then we're going to tie it back into Dawn because that's where our conversation kind of started. And this is how the farm stand kind of started to also evolve. So, Marin.
Well, I also want to point out that if you're listening to us, you can see pictures of the farm stand on our YouTube channel. So you could check out what Dawn is creating on our YouTube channel. So as far as wealth, it's like our culture is so focused on wealth equals money, how much money you have, how much stuff you have. And I think it's done us a huge disservice as human beings because it discounts what we feel. It's so one-dimensional, and we're not one-dimensional beings. We're multidimensional beings. So when we get caught in this cycle of money equals wealth, we never get to really know ourselves, and we don't get to dig deeper of like what's really meaningful. Where do I feel rich inside? And I heard a little bit of Dawn's story, and so we're going to explore with Dawn together about what is it about the farm stand and creating it that took you beyond that I just need to make money and helped you to find, or maybe you didn't. What did you find about wealth for yourself in that experience?
So after talking with Stephanie about wealth and what you have when your money is gone, I didn't think that the farm stand, I don't think it's going to make me rich financially. I'm only open on the weekends, and I probably could make it more if I wanted to put more into it, but I just kind of wanted it to be like a little hobby, something to do. So I found with it, the amount of support that I've received, starting with, my dad saying, go get it, instead of saying, he could have said, don't spend your money on that. Don't waste your money. You're not going to make money. He could have been negative with me, and he didn't. So he was very supportive, and we went together on a little road trip to get it. So it's that kind of started the journey of, time with family. And then there's been like, when I pay attention to everything, it's like the amount of support that I'm receiving. So I've got an aunt who is baking for me. She made fudge for the first opening weekend. And she paints rocks. So she's able to put some of those in my stand, and we themed them for strawberries so we could open it up and have biscuits and jam. My dad hauled the strawberries for the jam. My mom and I made it together. And then we made the biscuits, and we did other baking together. And then from there, I've got another aunt who's willing to make bread to put at the stand. And she made it today, and it was absolutely delicious. And then, those are just supports for that. And then what else did I have? There was other supportive things that have happened, like friends checking in with me, constantly checking in. How's the stand? How are you doing? And sending me ideas of what I could make or what I could sell. And then having old friends stop at the stand and chit chat with me, and then having new people that I'm meeting that are coming. And like one lady that lives down the street came and said, I just was setting up at 8:30 in the morning, and she stopped in and said, I had to get some of this lavender before it was gone. My daughter needed a gift. So I said, let's stop at Boutsilier's. And I don't know why, but like just her saying that, it melted my heart. So it's like, oh, I'm offering a place for people to get neat ideas to share with other people. Or when I visited my mother-in-law, she ended up giving me lavender. She had it all done up in little bundles ready to sell. And I was like, this is a great idea. So, and just, I have so many stories like of all of these people that are supporting me and checking in on me and believing in me. And it's just really, it's kind of emotional, really.
Yeah.
So I guess I feel wealthy in love and support.
Yeah, like that, just what you're saying is like how much connection and growth and support and community that's come together. The time with your mom and your dad, your husband has also shown up to be quite, quite interested in something that you didn't think he would initially even be interested in, right? He
Mm-hmm.
helped create it. He's now kind of reaching out and helping selling it, and
Oh
the
yeah.
dynamics between the two of you have changed too, right?
One morning I woke up and I saw the doors open and the stand, like the sign was out. And I thought to myself, I know I put that away last night. What's going on? I didn't know if somebody had came by or what had happened. And then I realized it was my husband out there bringing all the goodies out because I was letting me sleep in that morning. So that was a very big surprise as well.
That's amazing. And one of the things that I'm hearing is the support and the community that you're feeling. And I'm putting myself in the shoes of the people around you. And one of the things that Stephanie and I have talked about on multiple podcasts is how we don't ask for help because we're afraid we're going to put somebody out. And yet, if somebody asked us for help, we'd be there in a heartbeat and we'd feel valued.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't give people in our lives the opportunity to do that. And one of the things I heard in all of your stories is how much each of those people feels like they have skin in the game. They have something they can commit, they can contribute. They can like add, some lavender all bundled up, and here you can ready to sell, and some rocks, like all the stuff. And when we're in a community that type of a wealthy, when I'm saying a wealthy community, I mean a community that really supports each other and feels fed by each other. It is like that. We do. It's let me do for you and I'll do for you, and it's constantly back and forth instead of just a one-way street. And going back to what I said earlier about when we're taught that wealth equals money, it becomes such a one-way street. And we start taking and taking and taking and taking. And you see that with the greed that happens in the corporations. And it's like, how much profit can we make at whose expense, right? So having a story, multiple stories like yours, where you're seeing the wealth from all the different angles, and especially from the human connection piece. That sounds like it's been really important.
I have a friend who just reached out to me the other day and said she's got lots of dill and basil, and she wants to make pesto, and she wants to make a dill butter for my stand. And I was like, oh, that's great. Like, if you want to do that, put that here. And it's not about me making money off of her. It's just like, okay, you're going to provide something for my stand. Something might be interesting to somebody else. It's just kind of like sharing and making a little bit of money off of it, but not focusing on the money part, more on the supporting one another. And my grandmother is very crafty. She's 88 years old and still doing crafts. And she's always got something to put on my stand as well. And I mentioned, when I first started thinking about it, I mentioned I'd like some baskets from her. And if she found any at a yard sale is what I was thinking. But then she said to come see her the next day. So I went to visit her, and there was a whole bag of baskets and containers and things that I could use to display my products on. And it's just I feel like the whole process has been ask and you shall receive. I put out a little, one of my other friends mentioned cut flowers, and they thought that was a really neat idea. And I was like, well, I could sprinkle some flowers. Like, that's not a hard thing. I've got lots of land and we have mud. So again, Terry being very helpful, went and got the mud with the tractor right away and made a pile. And then my sons and their friends were over and they helped me flatten it all out. And then we sprinkled some seeds on, and we're just going to let Mother Nature see what happens. And Stephanie, I mentioned to her too, she gave me a whole box of seeds. Like, it just feels like, I don't know, it's like love and support, but like it's an internal feeling that I have. Like, it's like right in the heart. Like, I can feel it in the heart. So yeah. And then the same friend that mentioned the cut flowers was in Halifax, and her sister-in-law bought cut flowers, and she showed me the way that she presented it, just in a cup with a stamp with her logo on it. And it's like, I was like, well, I could handle that. But I had asked on Facebook for jars, anybody that had any jars, because I'm thinking I could use those for the vases for the flowers when they grow. And I instantly got a message, hey, somebody dropped me off extra jars. I don't need them. Come pick them up. So I did. And they weren't all quite the size I needed, But then when my other friend mentioned about doing the dill butter and basil pesto, I was like, oh, I have the perfect jars for you. She's like, I can't invest the money in the jars, but I would love to make these for you. I have so many herbs. And I was like, well, even dry the herbs, I have the perfect envelopes for those. Like, there's just so many, like, it's endless, like the amount of opportunities and things that you can do and the way that you can present things. And yeah, even like the friend that mentioned it to me the second time, Veronique, she mentioned doing the farm stand. And so I kind of ran with it. She, like, even her husband, I noticed, is liking my posts and saying like, oh, when we drive by, we're going to stop at the stand and get a treat. And then she's asking me for recipes. So I'm sharing some recipes. Like, yeah, it's very neat how it's all unfolding.
It's growing, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's growing, and I think that's so beautiful witness of when sometimes when we have a dream, we might think, "Ooh, people aren't going to help me out, or it's not going to work." We kind of go to the negative sometimes, but you're getting at such a witness of like, "Hey, what if?" What if? And then other people go, yeah. And what if I added this to it and I added that to like everyone's being able, there's a place for everyone's dream without taking huge risks. And yet there's that internal, I love what you said, that's that internal wealth that's growing, that richness that's inside of you, which I think is what most of us are looking for in the outer. And we don't know how to also get it in the inner. And you are making space in your heart to ask for help and to receive it. Because it's not just about asking for the jars or asking for the ideas. It's also being able to then go, being willing to go, yeah, and implementing it and making it work. And it's great. And you're having fun. There's joy there.
One of the things that I notice is you said that you kind of follow the flow, right? And oftentimes I hear people say that of like, oh, if it's meant to be, it'll happen, right? And there is that aspect of it. If it's meant to be, it may or it may not happen. There's work that's involved, and that's the piece that we don't. We have this. I think just like with money, we have this relationship with work of it has to be hard and something that you do, and then when you're done with work, you go play. And I think what I want to say about it is that you have this blended sense of like the work is joyful and it's playful and it's, oh, what else could happen? Oh, and this. And it's not that you're just sitting back and going, well, if it is going to happen, it's going to happen, and not doing anything. You had to go pick up this. You had to get people involved and go pick this thing up and then strip it and do this and move piles of mud and plant things and ask people. Like there's work that's happening. And it's work that seems very joyful work rather than what we're taught in society work looks like.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense because it is stuff that I love to do. I love renovating. I love creating, and even like it's not even about the baking. It's like the packaging as well. Like I just like to see, like put it in different ways, wrap it in the craft paper and ribbon around it, and I just like doing those kinds of things. And then the quality time part too. Like I forgot to mention earlier. Like my son this past week, he's 12 and he's like, Mom, do you want some help? I said, sure. And he just did it to help me just because he wants to see this farm stand successful and he likes to bake and he makes the best banana chocolate chip muffins. So he started with making those and then he made the cookies and while I was making biscuits and he got the rhubarb from our garden, washed it, cut it. Like he did all of that. And what I love is he didn't expect anything, but I paid him and he thought, I'll only get paid for what I do. And I'm like, but you helped me do all of it because you doing part of it was helping me do the other parts. So I gave him some money and he's like, well, Mom, you need that money for the farm. Like it's money for the farm stand. You put money into it. And I was just like, well, you're 12, like take the money. But it was really sweet that like he even helped. So, and then this week, I don't even know. I don't think I'm really baking much. Like my aunt's taking care of most of what I want. We're doing Christmas in July. So I put out the idea and she's like, what do you want me to bake? So I told her and she's going to make the cookies and then we'll get together and we'll decorate them together with royal icing. And It's really cute. We have a gingerbread man with sunglasses and shorts on. So just thought that would be fun. Maybe I'll send you pictures of our baked goods. You can upload them with the farm stand.
I would
I love
love
it.
I think that our people would love to see that. So yeah, we would love to check out the YouTube channel again. It's at Soulful Leaders, and you can check out the YouTube channel and see pictures of the farm stand with Christmas in July.
Yeah, and my grandmother has crafts that she's been working on that I'm going to put out. Some of them are with beach glass. But they're in like Christmas tree shapes or snowman shapes and things like that. So she's got some of those that she just has, and we'll put them out. And everything is like, it's not like I'm scared to fail with this, because I feel like everything that I do will, like Nanny was making those crafts anyway. She had the sea glass. She wanted to make those things. And so we put them in. If they sell, great. If they don't, we'll go to another market and sell them, support some of the schools in the area and sell them there. Or like with baked goods, if they don't, I'm going to bake anyways for my family. So I just do a double batch or extra. And then if they don't sell, I can put them in the freezer or give them away. Or I'm not scared to lose or fail with it. I was actually a little bit more scared of the success part. Not being able to keep up is what I was afraid of. But so far it's pretty good.
That's an interesting, if you can say more about the fear of success, like not being able to keep up.
Just for me, it's like making sure, like, I think that's maybe, I don't know if I got that vibe off my husband and maybe my mom. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to have enough stuff. What if you sell it? Because in a store, you have to be stocked fully. But for me, it's like, well, kind of first come, first serve. And what we have is what we have, and what we have is fresh. And if it sells out, then maybe you should come earlier. But yeah, so I don't, yeah, I
So
wasn't really,
having a different relationship with that thought.
yeah.
Like instead of saying, oh, it's a bad thing to be successful because you're not going to let people
Right.
down. Well, get out early. It's fresh. First come, first serve.
Mhm.
And there'll be something next. There'll be something else. Keep coming back.
Yeah, one of my friends said that she went to a farm stand that people line up at opening time to get the product. And I was a little bit nervous about that because that kind of puts a pressure that I don't really want. Or other people have suggested that I take orders, but I find taking orders, it also puts a pressure on me to kind of be perfect and make it turn out. Like this is I'm doing it for fun. And if it sells, great. If it doesn't sell, then we get more cookies at home. Like,
Yeah, you're finding your own business model, so to speak.
mhm,
You're finding what works for you and having joy with it, and how it's being surprised and delighted with you on how things are coming together and being
mhm.
open to that. And that's a very different perspective. And it's very admirable. I like that.
It also is when we're in our flow, meaning that we're in that happy place that is a combination of effort and sweetness. Like you're putting in the effort, you're feeling the sweetness. It's not all effort all the time. It's not all sweetness and empty calories, right? It's this combination. And so you're in this sweet spot, the zone, right, of effort and sweetness. And what I heard you say is, I don't want to do that because it'll push over into this, like, that's way too much pressure and effort. And once we go over in that area, now things get constricted, right? We start to lose our flow. Or when we go into, oh, I don't have to do anything here, then we get distracted and we're all in sweetness. We lose our flow there too. So having that happy place of I'm putting work in and it's work that I love. So I have this effort and sweetness thing going on. The fact that you're aware of that in yourself is what will help you to continue to expand and grow in a way that works for you. Like Stephanie said, it's a different business model. And I think it's critical right now that we're introduced to alternative business models because the current business model kind of sucks.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it's keeping people scared to even try something that they are intuitively or being guided to actually do, which is
Yeah,
what you
like
were doing, Don.
yeah, Dawn, you started with an inspiration. Hey, what about this? And you start, and like all the little things you were listening, and you were listening to what wants to happen instead of listening to the fears and the doubts and that won't work. And did you go to business school? Do you have a this? Do you have a that? Like, do you have a business
Yeah.
proposal? Do you, like all of the stuff that could have gotten in your way. And instead it's very organic, the growth, right?
Mhm. There were a couple comments about it that maybe like kind of it didn't stop me obviously, but it made me think like my mom, for example, wanted me to just sell on as I've been doing at holidays. I bake things and then just sell out right away just on Facebook. But um, I just I don't know. There was something about it. And then with the farm stand, even my husband was kind of iffy about it because I think he didn't want it to turn into a job that made me feel like work. Um, but then I mentioned that it could double as a sign because we've been wanting to put signage up. We have a camp that we rent in our backwoods. And so I said, well, it could be the sign for the camp and it could be the farm stand. And I don't know, but he kind of clicked and we ran with it. And then we just made it happen. So, and that's kind of how I know it's meant to be when things go together so smoothly and everything works out. Like even like putting the metal roof on top, like it just the way that we cut it, it just worked that two pieces came together perfectly and made the right size. Like everything just goes together.
And I think it's also because you're open to it. You're willing. Like, sometimes we get caught in the way things are supposed to be. Or
Mhm.
even what Terry had said, your husband had said, is I'm worried that there's that fear of success, right? I'm worried that it's going to turn into a job and instead of being an enjoyment. But when we are behind what we're doing, we can create how we want to create. We can change the business model. If it doesn't work for us, we change it. And I think what you and I had talked about is that why are you doing it? And the upfront thing wasn't to make money. It was about to share and to bring people together and to do the things you love to do and to, accentuate your creativity and just the enjoyment of it. And I think if we put that in front as our motivator in anything that we are doing, that's what gets us up out of bed in the morning when it's raining or the outside world isn't kind of all cheering to the way we want it to be. That internal motivator is there. No one is having to do that because it's already there. It's already within us because we love it.
That's a
That
good
makes
message
sense.
for listeners to pay attention to the inner and pay attention to the surprises and delights and see, because it took a while for me to figure out what truly makes me happy. And so to the feeling that I get with this, I mean, it's kind of more than just a farm stand, I guess.
Exactly.
Oftentimes with work, we think of it as just something that we go and do to make money. And when you were talking about kind of your inspiration and following it and the fear of success and not wanting it to become a job, it made me think about when I was dancing and I had fallen in love with dance and then I couldn't help myself. I just had to start sharing it with other people. So suddenly I found myself as a dance teacher. And then when my dance career was coming to an end, I was like, well, I want to open a studio. I want to create a community. And I noticed that really what happened over time, this is in hindsight, is it changed me. And each of the Marins that changed wanted something like my I kept growing and changing as a person. And I'm wondering, as you look back, and I know only been a short amount of time, what you've noticed about what's changed in you just since you started.
The noticing the feelings of happiness, I guess, is
Mm.
the biggest change. Realizing that, hey, this farm stand went in my yard, and I feel so proud and I feel so loved and I feel so connected that it's just and then knowing that it's not about money and I'm not doing it, I'm not driven by money for it, is a nice feeling as well. And then, well, it turned into a podcast. So, and it's kind of cool to even just say, like, to my friends, like, I'm doing a podcast about this. And they're like, oh, you'll have to let us know. We'll listen to it. So it's, again, like it's helping and sharing and community, and it's all of those things. And then noticing it, because I didn't like, I was just thought I was just checking out a farm stand on Pinterest. I didn't know it was going to turn into all of this.
So what would you, if you met somebody who is kind of seeking for happiness and had some ideas, but didn't know if they really wanted to do them or not, or, what advice would you give them?
For me, it was listening to what's speaking to you, or what's guiding you, because it's like, because I heard it once and I didn't really think anything of it, and then I heard it twice and I thought maybe I should, and maybe it was just the right time and the right place kind of thing. But I don't know, I feel like there's something guiding direction, and you just have to be open to what is kind of coming your way, I guess, and go with the flow, and just go for
Trust
it.
it. Just trust it.
Trust. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know we've talked about that on our co-creation circle that you're a part of. That's one of the yearly things that we do, and Stephanie and I do. And I'm wondering how much of that you've been able to do more of that because of working with Stephanie or doing the work that we do on co-creation circle. Has there been some sort of an impact from that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's definitely super inspirational for me. When I have all these, what I call crazy ideas, I go to her and I talk to her about it. And then of course she's always got a wonderful way of putting things and guiding me to trust myself. And yeah, so I would say, I would, like, when you said co-creation circle, I thought I should look back in my notes and see if there was any like hints of this coming my way from the past.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and really, I mean, that's what we do, right? So it's all about co-creating with life. And when you're in that conversation with life, then you're able to hear those things that oftentimes we dismiss because of our conditioning or our programming or what we're told it's supposed to look like, right? So there's that allowing ourselves, the allowing piece. Right? It's a very different, like Stephanie said earlier, very different way of looking at business and doing business. That's friendlier. It's co-creating,
Mhm.
There's kind of something like a little bit rebellious about not going with the typical models and doing your own thing and doing it differently. And yeah, I find there's like a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, like not joy in that, but like
a pioneer, like venturing out in a place that hasn't been done before, and you're you're the one kind of, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and then I didn't realize there was a site on Facebook, Show Me Your Farm Stand, that I'm a part of, and looking at other people's farm stands. And so I put mine on there, and then somebody connected to me, and I can't remember the name of the platform they use, but it's mostly in the States, but it's coming to Canada. And you can advertise your farm stand there, and people actually go on farm stand tours. Like, you know how people would hop like from Frenchies to Frenchies for thrift clothing? People will do that for farm stands. So I'm registering it under, I tried to find one in Nova Scotia. So I'm registering it under those and see what happens.
Oh, that's a great, so like a farm stand tour.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it made me think, like, maybe I should go on one of those and check out other people's farm stands and, see their pricing and see how they package things and present things, and kind of support other people as well that are doing this. Cause I know the feeling that I get when somebody stops, especially if I know them or if I don't. Cause I had somebody else like that you can e-transfer me. So I was in New Glasgow with my mom at a doctor's appointment, and I was getting e-transfers of money while I was there of people. I was like, "Oh, you stopped at my farm stand." She's like, "Yeah, I did." Like, "Thank you so much." Like, so here I am, like, away from the house, and I know. And then I said to my son, "There's money out in the farm stand," and he said, "How do you know?" I'm like, I am getting messages of people stopping. So, yeah. And so people that I know and don't know, like, it's nice to be able to provide for people that are new. So I have new customers, but also for the people that know me, to have them support me is really special.
I love this. I just love this.
Yeah. And I just want to point out that Dawn is one of the people that has listened to our podcast probably since the beginning, on and off. I get it. Like, and I know that you were one of our first podcast listeners. So I am so excited to have one of our first podcast listeners actually on the podcast and chatting with us. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Thank you so much, Donna. It's such a pleasure to be able to celebrate you and to see the growth and the change of what you've integrated and learned from all the things that you and I have shared together, and that you've participated with Maren and I. It's so fun to see you glow and be happy.
Thank you.
So Dawn, if somebody were interested in your book or in visiting your farm stand or in just saying hi and saying, "Hey, I want to support you," or maybe even providing products for your farm stand, how would they reach you?
I don't know the best way to reach. I mean, I'm on Facebook for just my name, Dawn Boutilier. I can put an email out there.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, so it's dawnmurphy2003@hotmail.com. And I can give that to you for you can put it on your links or whatever.
Yep. And all of that will be in the links in the show notes, so everybody can find that there. And if you're watching it on YouTube or you want to go look at it on YouTube, Dave always puts it running across the screen too. So,
well, thanks again, and thanks
yeah.
to our listeners.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, Dawn, and we'll be back with everybody. So you can find us as Soulful Leaders. You can find our website, tslp.life, or you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, all at Soulful Leaders. So we'll see you all in a few weeks. Thanks so much, Dawn.
See you.
And that wraps up another episode of the Soulful Leader podcast with your hosts, Stephanie Allen
and Maren Oslack. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to dive deeper, head over to our website at thesoulfulleaderpodcast.com.
Until next time.